hello there. Welcome to cmcstamps.com. And today, and this is with Trisha Williams. And today we get to talk about we get to do a mini tutorial specifically on how to use your Big Shot and the embossing folders. So we're talking just about how to get that cool texture on the background. Do you see how cool that is? Of your cards. So not talking about these cool flowers. They are awesome. But we're talking just about this textured part of your card that you can put any paper in and you can really get really awesome texture. And obviously they added a little sparkle, but focusing on just how to get the texture today in the background of all these cool cards. And then I have a couple samples to show you. But so let's go ahead and get started. I am just going to go ahead and show you the different types, and I'll probably bring my Big Shot forward here just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. It has a lot to do with how we put together our sandwich and all that kind of jazz. Okay, so let's go ahead and just show the differences in all the different embossing folders. We have the 6x6 size, which is awesome, and we have in the kind of traditional thin type, which is going to give you a really cool image. And then we have 4D type. So see how much thicker it is? One side is like really thick. I love these folders because it adds like an extra kind of dimension to your paper. And I'm going to be able to show you that today, but I'm going to show you in the smaller size. So this one is a little bit smaller, 4.5 by 6.5 size. And you can see how I store them, that I keep this little sheet that comes with it. So it basically labels it for me. It tells me what kind it is. And then I put a little rubber band around them. And then to show you more on how I store them is I put them in like a really cool box like this so I can kind of flip through them, you know, and pull out the one that I want to see. Or like, you know, maybe I want to do this one. And I'm trying to keep all my 4D ones in one section and all my other ones in another. And just so you know, also they come in these small sizes where they kind of come and just do a little small amount of paper just like that. Okay, so then I kind of keep those here in the front like that. So that's how I choose to store them. You can choose to store them anywhere. The most important thing I can teach you guys today about embossing folders is how to build your sandwich. It depends on the thickness of the embossing folder that you are using. So if you are using a standard embossing folder, you will need a thicker sandwich, so you'll use 2 cutting plates. If you're using a 3D dynamic folder that is thicker naturally, you'll need less thick of a sandwich, so only use 1 cutting plate. And I want to dive into the differences of the embossing folders next. Okay, so I really wanted to show you guys in my annual catalog on page 222 and 223 what the textured embossing folders look like. So see how they have like a deeper pink color here, like a calypso coral. Then they have like a powder pink on this one. So that's going to tell you the differences between the two. I've been calling them 4D, but they're actually called 3D textured impressions. So they are the thicker ones. So for example, this is one of your thicker embossing folders. You can tell it has a lot more to it, and it adds more depth to your paper. Okay, and then you can see that all of the 3D ones that are in pink will be those thicker ones. And then all the ones that are standard, just regular, will be deeper pink. So then you can pick out which one you want, and you can see that there is so many different options. Okay, so now you know where to find it in your annual catalog. Alrighty, let's move on. I want to show you how to do this now. We're going to start by using the Swirls and Curls, which is in the new holiday catalog. And I grabbed a little pre-cut piece of paper that I want exactly the size that I want. And I'm going to put it in my embossing folder. Now, I want it to have a really good image, and sometimes what happens with your paper is sometimes it overcuts and it kind of breaks your paper, and that's a real big bummer. So to prevent that, I have a solution. And also sometimes you just want it to have a really, really crisp image. Adding a little bit of a spritzer, like a little spritz of water. I just filled water in 3/4 of the way. And then make sure you don't squirt yourself in the face or on my camera. Make sure you're squirting down. And then what you do is just spritz a little water on to your paper, and see it will kind of bend and fold. But then you go ahead and you're ready to put it in. Okay, so now you're ready to put it in. and you just kind of align it where you want within there. So you understand that the paper goes inside your embossing folder. It opens up and you put your paper inside. And then you're going to have your Big Shot platform. Do not put your thin die adapter on top. That will make it too thick, and that is only for cutting dies. Then go ahead and put one of your cutting plates in. And I keep 2 really clean, crisp cutting plates just for embossing because it's not cutting anything and it's not going to add any extra marks onto your Big Shot. Okay, you see that I have it all set. So there is a little backbone part of your folder, so the part that kind of folds. I want that part going to the back. So the spine of the folder goes to the back, and I want to make sure that none of my edges are going to hit because it will ruin your emboss folder, and that's a big bummer. So make sure that you have it inside, especially when you have a 6x6 that just barely fits. Okay, let's see the magic. Woo! So that's really cool. You can use either this side of it or this side. So the embossed or the debossed side. All right. So now I'm going to bring up this really cool tufted dynamic, and I'm using a piece of cream cardstock, and I'm going to put it right in where I want it. And oh, one other hint. I like to have the Stampin' Up logo looking at me. Oh, there it is. So that looks pretty cool. And once again, you can use this side or you can use the front side. This one is by my friend Natalie Wool, and she used my favorite embossing folder. I really love the softly falling embossing folder. So there's that one. This one is that one that I showed you, just comes with 2 packs, and they're very thin, and so they don't need a lot of paper. So I just cut a small paper to that size, and I was able to make a really cool background with one of the Memories and More cards. Okay, this is a recent card that I made with a lot of bling, but see how I only needed a small portion at the bottom? And I think how I did this is I had my cardstock cut, the crumb cake was already cut, and I only put my embossing folder through part of it. So what I'm explaining, I think I'll show you. So let's say that this is just a plain piece of paper that I have not done anything to. I could put just a portion of it in there as long as it would still fit through my Big Shot, if that makes sense. Or you can put it this way so it will fit through your Big Shot. Just make sure that you don't have any edges hitting. That's a little trick, so you don't have to emboss the whole entire paper. You can only emboss a portion. And this one was done by my friend Candace. This is one of my favorite embossing folders that I used for both of these cards. A really pretty floral right there that I just embossed, and I embossed it straight on to my card base. I just put that right through my folder. And to do this, how you would do it, is you put your card through like that, and it gives you a little bit of leeway so that you can actually close it, and then you could run it through the Big Shot. So that's how I did that technique. And then here's one more where I put it on a white piece of paper and mounted it to a crumb cake card base. Okay, I hope that you guys liked seeing the cards and how to emboss. Come back and see some more of my mini tutorials, and visit me at cmcstamps.com to get your product today. Thanks. Bye.